Jug's just that safe option. Why Jug though in the Medusa matchup is
goes well with Lich, and then it goes like it isn't threatened by Coddle or Brew, so it's just a hero that can hit the Medusa. But they end up going for the Monkey King. Not sure how much I love that pick, just because of the fact that Coddle's ult actually destroys trees in a massive AoE. So it's something where they already have kind of a bit of a counter to it, and Medusa is very good at disengaging with her ultimate. So when they use the ultimate from Monkey King, you can just ult on the Medusa and probably buy a Hurricane Pike. And then I'd say if neither hero has their ultimate, Medusa is much more impactful. Like Medusa is just a better hero than Monkey King is without her ultimate. But Monkey King does go well with Lich.
Yeah, I think the lane looks pretty strong, but even small King's life a little bit more difficult if you get pushed out of your ultimate. It doesn't look like the easiest hero to me to play Monkey King into. But lane stage wise against Brewmaster, he should have a pretty good time. Yeah,
he should. For sure. They might even make this Brew a 5, though, or like a 4 or 5, just because. Yeah. I like that a lot. That is catch and disable. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a core Venge. It goes really well with the Dusa, allows for the repositioning of your central focus. Like, she is your carry, the Medusa. So having Vengeful Spirit not only be able to reposition her in a game like this against the Monkey King, but also just amp up her damage output and minus armor.
GoDz, I know you mentioned it earlier too. And again, I think it was the first series that we saw her in pubs, at least the high tier pub games. Vengeful's actually one of the highest, if not the highest, win percentage hero right now.
That's on Dota buff, it's Reg 1, and then on the pro game pub tracker, it's like the second highest win rate after Elder Titan. So
yeah,
Venge is scary.
Yeah.
It's a good enhancement for Medusa. Let her do the carrying job in the end. So now
it's a pretty snowball hero, which is, I think, where it works well in pubs, because, you know, if you get off to a good start in pubs, people tend to give up a bit more and not really tough it out. And that's where Venge, as far as being off to a good start, it's a hero that's strong in lane, good in the early game, takes Roche well, and will very quickly get out of control.
I think one of the most underappreciated or under-acknowledged changes of the patch that I time and time again mention whenever I can is the change to auras. They went from radius of 900 to 1200, which in terms of AoE is almost double. It goes like because you have the radius is squared for all of you geometry majors out there. So basically, heroes like Beastmaster and Venge got significantly buffed by these changes for buffing up their teammates. It just makes it so the positioning you can have is just way you can just position yourself farther away from your team and still be benefiting them. So you're less fragile, less vulnerable. And it's a big deal on heroes like Venge, especially. Her positioning is super important. And I think that's one of the big reasons why Venge has been seeing so much, why she's being picked so much, as well as just having a good win rate. On top of all the reasons you mentioned in the pubs, people definitely give up way too easily against these type of heroes.
So they ban out the Brood after the Tiny was banned out by Spirit.
Worried about some cheese. You know, there's still, BSG said, there's a lot of cheese nowadays, and Brood is definitely still up there and always will be. Although I haven't seen too much Brood, I feel like, on this patch so far.
No. I've not seen really, again, I can't recall one that I've seen, actually. You mentioned that.
Yeah, they're just trying to make sure their Medusa's game is secured. If they had picked a Brood second round, the Medusa could have rotated to a different lane. But at this point, they're probably locked in on lanes, so they have to ban out the Brood. And that is a hero you don't see anymore at all. That's
Lifestealer.
Okay.
They don't really have. I guess Brewmaster could be a decent vehicle for him, but the blink on him early.
Nice lane matchup against Centaur, but very bad lane matchup against Monkey King. So lane matchups are going to be super important in this game. In regards to probably going to be some early movements to scout out and make sure each team tries to get the lanes that they want. I don't know. I think Lifestealer is one of my favorite heroes, and he sucks. That's my opinion, but maybe I'm willing to find something out different today.
There we go. Well, last pick, Troll Waller. There's a carry that typically just matches up amazingly well against Lifestealer, so I don't think his life gets any easier when he sees that hero come into play.
Yeah, Lifestealer was an odd choice.
I feel like Lifestealer is just so bad against all the popular meta heroes right now, and Troll Warlord being one of them. But at the same time, I also like the rest of their draft. So Lifestealer is like most certainly not their win condition. Like that hero was not drafted in order to carry the game. He's kind of meant to be an enabling hero. I don't exactly see why they picked it, so I'm curious to see where it ends up, like the role it ends up playing in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Swift Ending is kind of that carry player, but with the mid Medusa, that's going to be the hero they look to kind of build their draft more around. But it does seem a little unclear exactly how the Lifesteal is going to fit in. Maybe that's the hero building some, like, more utility items. Although I think with the Venge there, you're not really, you are looking for Lifesteal to still go for like a more traditional build.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, as maybe he's going to be their aura carrier, but that seems strange to me. Maybe he'll go like one small item into Radiance or something. I don't know. Like I
actually like a Solar Crest like Halberd build. Like this game could be decent and good utility.
Yeah, Solar Crest is just so expensive nowadays that like when you're building it on these like utility type heroes that don't flash farm, it's just difficult to get it. It used to be less than 3,000 gold, and now it's over 4,000. So it's just an item that's more difficult to achieve for heroes like Lifestealer. So I'm curious. Like I said, I really have no idea what their intention is with this pick.
He's got level 8 on the Dota Plus with it, so he's a Lifestealer player at least. Not many people have played him since Dota Plus came out, so clearly Swift Ending is onto something maybe.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Yeah. His rage is decent against the supporting cast. That was the one thing that did stand out to me a little bit. So he's got that going for him, I guess. But ultimately, it's going to be a bit of a challenge from that perspective. Overall, it's a decent draft from EPG again. It's just that question mark of the Lifestealer. Kind of an impact he's going to have real quickly. Head over to es.bet and place your bets on the said odds that showed up earlier here for the WePlay Winter Madness event. You can take advantage of the insurance in there as well for this event. So again, es.bet to place said bets. Okay. The match has begun. Into the early laning phase we go. So Mitchum, we got Brewmaster nearby with the Vengeful. Trying to compete for this top bounty room, but as we see, Team Spirit, they're sending nearly everyone over here to contest, so probably going to get it for themselves.
I think this is really important that they do this, like, just to establish, like, the right lane matchups, to establish that early lead. Lifestealer is bottom, so they're probably going to put the Centaur top, it looks like.
Running in, so realizing now that's a bit of a trap. There's that Inkswell and the Frostio combination. Talk about good luck getting away from it.
Lifestealer's running all the way from bottom to the top lane.
Okay.
And that's just showing that both teams are very aware of this matchup. Like, Troll just pretty much dumpsters Lifestealer in lane. He's high armor, so Lifestealer doesn't feast off you very much. And then also he does a lot of single target physical damage, which is what Lifestealer's weak to with the 0 base armor.
No, I'm feeling it.
He's still heading up there, but yeah, once he gets up there, it's a case of, who's going to blink first? Do we see some TP rotations or not? So
this was over before it started.
So the musical lanes that take place. But right now, Troll, he's free farming the bottom lane. Obviously has information there. What's going on?
Yeah, sometimes you'll be content having the unfavorable matchups if you just get that early lead, because the Troll's been sitting in lane for a whole creep wave on his own. Yeah. Which is sometimes enough to just say, okay, we're content with these lane matchups. And Centaur is also like in his own safe lane, so he's better off there than against the Lifestealer bottom. So I wouldn't be surprised, since they don't want to TP and then just get followed by TPs. I think they'll just leave as is.
That's what it looks like to be the case right now. It's got all 3 lanes, a perspective of what's going on. Top lane, looks like they're going to go on a Lifestealer there. The open wounds applied, but going to pressure him out at least somewhat. Grimstroke and the Centaur combo. Again, pretty dangerous combo in itself. I mentioned earlier with the whole Inkswell on Centaur, sets up a hoof stomp. Gotta respect that. We also saw earlier with the pass of the Retribution, or whatever it's called.
Retaliation.
Yeah, that's what it is, yeah. The damage though that this guy can do, you're looking at like 150 plus damage early on. The charges added up.
It hurts. I think the Lifestealer matchup against Centaur is way worse than it used to be because of that. Centaur and Lifestealer both have really low armor, and it used to just be that Centaur would lose the trades, but now with Retaliate, it's just not the same. I haven't actually played the matchup since it changed, but just based on on paper what it would look like, I feel like it'd be much worse than it used to be. So that's why I'm really curious to see how this Lifestealer pick pans out. If it was picked earlier on in the draft, it'd make a little more sense to me. Like maybe it's just a comfort hero, but they picked it after seeing almost all the heroes from Team Spirit.
questions to be answered. Bottom lane, Skitter. Shield saving it for now. Magic Missile comes out that they want this kill on Troll, but it was damn risky to go for. The Whirling Axis helping a bit too. You saw a couple of misses coming into play, and they turn and kill the Brewmaster. So 1-0 start for Team Spirit. Yeah, ambitious move to go after the Troll there.
Yeah, Troll's Whirling Axe is one of the most powerful laning skills in the game. Just such a high miss chance on such a low cooldown. And a lot of heroes rely on most of their damage being right clicks at this stage in the game.
Top lane, Swift ending. He's gonna try to go in for some last hits, but you see he goes in for one last hit, and all of a sudden he's down to 10% life. Has to fall back, eat some trees, and heal on up, but very slowly heal on up. So, man, not surprising. I mean, it's just not the best start for the Lifestealer, and it continues to be the ultimate question of what kind of an impact is going to have. But right now, the CS very good for the Dire side across the board, and especially that Monkey King. Holy crap, 21-6 in that mid lane.
I'd be curious to see how many times he's dodged the snake with his pass or with his mischief. I think that play would play a huge role in that lane. We haven't been paying much attention to that lane, but Medusa primarily relies on Mystic Snake in order to win lanes.
Sure, it's coming into play. Big help for that. So yeah, Team Spirit already a 2,000 net worth lead. Not even 4 minutes into this game. That is a huge lead at this point, at least. Centaur, see back at him with Grimstroke coming in. They're not going to dive too far. That's the other thing too. What kind of impact Caudle's going to be able to have as he's supporting the Lifestealer up there, at least the best that he can, spamming that Illuminate. All three lanes, though, it's safe to say it's being won by the Dire team right now.
Yeah, we saw something similar last game, but last game the Troll had a free farm game from elements, and that's the difference here, is that none of the cores on the side of EPG have that free start. And that was a lot about why they were able to come back in that game, was one of their heroes was just strong enough in order to carry them farther enough into the game. And that's where the concern is that if they keep losing all their lanes like this, it could just snowball so quickly that the Medusa doesn't actually have time to come online.
Look at this, though. A rotation from Brewmaster. LeBron Dota runs in Thunderclap. You have Bornesia. It's coming in with only one auto attack so far. It looked like he went a little too early there. If he was maybe somewhat more patient, could have had something. Now, actually, LeBron's just dead because Monkey King turns on him. So, yeah, the patience not really there for Brewmaster. And ultimately, Monkey King not only gets away, but then eventually turns. Not as planned for that gank. 2-0 start, and that net worth lead just continues to rise that much more. As top lane, Lifestealer, Rage TP, yeah, it is enough, but that was the middle lane. Medusa goes down, meanwhile. Monkey King is barely going to get out of there. He has a TP, but Lifestealer's going to find him. That would be a free kill for Lifestealer, however, he's not fast enough. He can't get
into the trees and ult.
Oh, no. Wave of Terror's not enough damage.
Radiant's middle tower,
yeah, he can't get out. No Primal Spring, so could not get away. He tried.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of rotations forced, and he got the kill on Medusa, so despite the fact that they got the kill on Monkey King, like, that was just a lot of space created. That's a carry Venge, forced to rotate from her lane at level 4, 6 minutes in, and now she has to walk all the way back to the bottom. Meanwhile, the Brewmaster dies, and now the tower is going to get pressured by the Catapult Wave. Any rotations you can force between the 5 and 6 minute mark are pretty massive, just because of the Catapult siege creeps being able to do so much damage to these towers, and that's already setting up for bottom tower to go down. And I have been affirmed my belief on the Centaur versus Lifestealer matchup no longer being good for Centaur or for Lifestealer. Yeah, I saw Lifestealer like trying to fight him, and Centaur's just like you said, hitting for 150 damage. That's not really good.
Mitch, he's dead. Bottom lane Magic Missile just delays it slightly. Hey, you took a look at those odds right there that just came up. You're going to head over to es.bet. You can place wager on those odds if you like them right now. Very good for Team Spirit and for good reason. As it just, nothing is looking positive really right now for the Radiant team. I mean, outside of Medusa doing okay in the mid lane, I suppose. But she even has that death, and in fact, she's going to die again right here. Monkey King, it's like we just saw the same thing not too long ago. Now, Monkey King dies a lot quicker, at least. So I have that going for them, but that's Medusa dead slightly before it, and the lead still continues for Team Spirit. Where's the answers for Elements Pro Gaming? You figure by now, like, there would have been some kind of rotation. I mean, I guess you have the tier 1 tower dead bottom. Does that mean you send the lifestealer down there now and just soak up some farm?
He can't really lane against the troll. I don't actually know who you put bottom. I feel like you just leave Brew there. He's probably the most survivable hero on your team, despite being a support. And it's like a lane where I feel like anyone who goes there is just gonna die. So you might as well just put your support there rather than a core. It just leaves you in this awkward spot. So what they're gonna do instead is they're gonna put Medusa in the jungle and they're gonna put Venge mid. But that leaves Lifestealer alone top, and he just dies.
See right there.
Bottom lane, as I mentioned, it's just a lane of death, and some would call it the dead lane. So he goes down, and that's just the nature of what's happening in this game. Is when you're down by 5,000 gold at 8 minutes into the game gets uncomfortable. You don't. There's nothing really feels good. You have to choose the best of the bad options. That's what's happening right now. And Team Spirit doing a really good job of just invading. They have wards protecting the troll to be able to play alone bottom, and then the strong heroes on their team are playing around top. Nice dodge on the stun there by 9.
Alright, it's gonna pop the Wukongs, if anything, to stay alive and maybe set up some turn even. Boundless Strike throwing out Mitch. He is gonna pop out of the Wukong, so lifesteal with that Jingu stays alive just long enough to kill Vengeful, but finally goes down on the Monkey King. So very close call, but you look at the rotations, everyone going there except the Coddle, who's at the bottom lane, so not to be negative for EPG continuing to do so, but it's still the big picture. I think Spirit's okay with that outcome. You have Troll farming elsewhere, continuing his massive farm, and haven't seen him for a little bit, but I assume he has at least his first decent item on Troll Warlord so far.
Yeah, I mean, Troll was free farming, Lich was getting his level 6 mid, Centaur was farming top during all that, so even though it's a 1-for-1, and usually that would favor the team that's behind, there's just so much farming going on the map by the side of Team Spirit that the net worth remains at 5k, all the lanes are pushed in towards their side of the map, so they map control still in favor of Team Spirit. That's really the kind of stuff you got to look at when kills happen, is what the map looks like. They do have to swap on the mid lane, and 9 will be caught out. And this is a crucial kill if they keep getting these. They did this last game too. They lost the laning stage and then had a couple of crucial kills. And this is something I mentioned at the start of the series with 9. I just feel like his mid to late game, or his mid game after the laning stage, mid to early game decision making has just been a bit like demonstrative of lack of experience. That's what I was kind of saying earlier, and I feel like it's rung true throughout this series. So just have to clean up his game a little bit if they want to make sure to secure this victory, because they have the momentum, but I would definitely say that Elements has the superior late game. So if they get there,
yeah,
so that's their win condition right now.
He continues to come back to this Lifestealer impact. He has double bracer right now, so I'm not exactly sure where he's even going to go from there, but is he the armlet build, or does he go for that Radiance? Who knows? He is trying to go for the kill the top lane on the Centaur, and he will take it. He had some support there, of course, but that's got to feel good for Swift Ending, finally getting something out of this lane. And even with that Vanguard, didn't matter. Of course, well, in a sense, with the Vanguard, technically more damage for the Lifestealer, as far as the health goes, at least.
Yeah, that's kind of strange to go first item Vanguard against Lifestealer, but it is very good when he gets Crimson in this game, so that's probably why he's doing it.
Bottom. Now this would be a big kill to kill Troll. He's got his ultimate. They're kiting him very well, though. Another rock comes out. Magic missile. No, Mitchell's not enough mana for follow-up. There's the ultimate. Now Skitter's going to start healing up. He's going to try to cut away. Soulbind comes in, though. The double chain Frost has a result. And the turn is real for Team Spirit. Skitter, the Frost Shield comes out. They're even going to kill off what's remaining. That was a beautiful turn for Spirit.
What did we mention about Troll just being able to live through stuff nowadays? That's such a huge deal. Old Troll would have just died there.
Instead, they turn for 3 kills, and he lives. That's just such a big deal for a carry hero to have that 1 extra survival every game. So he is going for he has queued up the Radiance on Lifestealer, phase double bracer into the Radiance. I definitely do not believe what would be called a traditional Lifestealer build would be any good this game, so I can get behind the fact that he has some idea of what he thinks is going to be good this game, because I'm not aware myself of how good or bad this build will be in this current patch, so we'll have to see how it plays out.
We'll see it in about 15 minutes or so from now.
Yeah, the problem is you have Medusa who doesn't want to fight, and neither does Lifestealer with the build he's going. So suddenly, if Team Spirit is able to force fights, it will be very difficult for you to fight despite having a Brewmaster support.
Yeah, it's a long, long trek of a road here for EPG as far as coming back in this game, but they are doing it to where if they manage to get over that hump, you mentioned, especially with the way they're building here, Radiance specifically on Lifestealer, start getting that online and the game's not over yet, then things could start going in their favor. So, well, by all means, absolute reason to still hang in this game as early as it is, but if you're Spirit, take advantage of what you have right now. Go for Roshan perhaps sooner than later. I wouldn't be surprised to see. Know that they're not willing to fight, you know, this early on. It's a pretty obvious statement there.
Yeah, they have both ults on support, so they're looking to smoke it up with just the two of them. If they find two heroes, those two heroes will die. And that's like why they're deciding to make aggressive movement with the wards. They don't even have to find anybody. They know where EPG is going to be farming. Medusa obviously relies on Ancients as well, so they immediately block that camp. And that also will help them secure Roche eventually when they decide to. That'll give them vision of EPG trying to contest. But as long as the game stalls, I think that favors EPG. But I'm pretty sure Team Spirit's just waiting until they hit what they believe to be their timing, and then they're going to speed up the pace of this game real quick.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a couple specific items here for the Troll and the Monkey King. I saw the Troll working on the Yasha earlier. I assume he has that by now, actually.
Yes, he's working. He had a Basher queued up last time I checked, and it's pretty standard. We've been seeing the Yasha Basher into the BKB on Troll. Just makes him such a powerful damage output, and the lockdown is pretty nuts. Medusa did go for the Mask of Mana, something I've been seeing less of. Usually I see Medusas go for like the Dragon Lance or the Yasha, but this game decides that we'll need that extra farming speed from the Mask of Madness.
Yeah, you mentioned the Kaya Yasha. He's one of the few heroes, or she's Medusa, that we actually see that item on. Like OD,
yeah, it just makes her mana shield, what is it, like 16% more effective? So that's really nice for her. Yeah. It's just a nice quality of life item for that hero, but I don't think you really have the ability to go what I would call luxury items this game. That's like an item where if you're like snowballing, you just want to make your game even better, it's a good item. But I feel like this game he'll have to itemize to actually live. So we'll see what ends up happening. That's like an item where I'm survivable, I'll make myself faster and more survivable, but it's not like this game he's not so survivable at this stage. So yeah. I'd much rather him go for something like a Hurricane Pike or something of that nature to make himself harder to bring down.
Up here, Monkey King is flying away. There's that Will-O-Wisp you mentioned. It destroys all the trees. And now Nine is caught out because of it. So he was simply on a scouting mission while he found somebody. And they just collapse on top of him. So Monkey King continues to have death after death here as he had a very good early start. So go back to what you were mentioning earlier. You see Medusa climbing up the net worth. And in fact, they also got Biver. Grimstroke's in trouble. Inkswell going to help a little bit with a swap in, puts out the soul by the double chain frost. So it's only one, it looks like. Didn't actually connect it for the double. Skitter, he joins in though. Whirling Axe is throwing out. They should be able to kill both of these guys, LeBron and Mitch. That will be the case. So a double kill for Skitter is set up in the end, despite the only one chain frost there.
That's actually way better for Elements than the last fight, just because it allows Medusa to TP bottom and get farm. Top lane is being pushed in by Lifestealer. Team Spirit will turn it into a Roche, but I feel like this was kind of inevitable. So overall, despite the fact that they're getting a Roche off this, I would be very happy with that occurrence by Elements. As long as you can take a semi-even fight that buys time for your Medusa and Lifestealer to farm, I think that you're happy with that at this current stage.
Yeah, like we said, this was an inevitable thing. So Team Spirit gonna do it. Kind of expected it. Skitter gets the Aegis now. Of course, much more of a threat, but again, Nine goes down at the bottom lane. Whew, you're on to something, man. He is having some trouble as we're coming out of the laning phase.
I think myself, I've been playing a lot of Monkey King trying to learn the hero, and I think that when I watch these like mid-1 type players, the Thompsons, like the known Monkey King specialists, the differences between them and the rest of the world of Monkey King players is their ability to avoid getting picked off by like stuff that sees you in the trees. Like it's pretty easy to play Monkey King survivability wise if they have no way of finding you in the trees. But this game, they have the Coddle, they have the Venge. They can just swap you off the trees after they wave up Terror for Vision. So I'm sure that's what happened there, but we were busy watching the Roche. It's just it's a hero that's hard to play at this level when they can kill you, and it's clearly showing here. And he just needs to be careful. If that happens a couple more times, I feel like deja vu from the first game. They were controlling the entire pace of the game, had complete map control inside of Team Spirit, and they just let a few too many deaths take that away from them last game, and they just have to be careful of that repeating itself this game. Medusa's actually queuing up a BKB this game, so that goes along with what I was thinking. That means he thinks he needs even more survivability than I thought he needed. He thinks this game's going to be fast. He knows he has to be ready to fight soon.
Yeah.
And I think that's a pretty accurate assessment of what's happening in this game.
You look at the top lane. There were 2 towers up here, and now there's only one at the tier 3. So Vlad's purchased by Vengeful.
Warlord effect.
Yeah, that's what he does. The fervor stacks. He's got the Aegis. Working on his own BKB, but of course still a bit of time before he's going to have that with the Basher first. Bottom lane, they're TPing in, as it looks like a bit of a split push now. I was going to mention Lifestealer. We haven't seen him in a while. He is making progress towards that Radiance, I'm sure. He might be delayed here. Does he has his Infest, I'm guessing. Yes, he does. So we'll see if that comes into play. He picks up the Invis. Oh, the Soulbind comes out, though. Can he Infest in time? No, he is going to die in the end. Probably didn't matter anyway. So they both end up getting caught. That pursuit successful.
Yeah, that's a great move by Team Spirit. They know they can't push high ground into the Call of Medusa, so they decide to punish the people that are split pushing on the map and using that Centaur ulti to catch. Something they kind of lacked last game was the ability to close the gap like that, and that's the Troll Warlord versus the Lifestealer matchup. Once he locks onto you, especially with his ult going in the Basher, you're just not getting away. You're gonna die.
As I was mentioning before that, though, again, you see the net worth. He actually has jumped up quite a bit, considering how much of a struggle that laning phase was. And again, I got to assume that Radiance is actually going to be a decent time here. So they haven't clicked on him yet. I've been looking, but soon.
Well, doing the quick math, Phase Boot's double bracer is about 2,500. So he maybe has like a stout and a quelling. So he's probably pretty close, as you mentioned. He's probably 1,000 off or so on that Radiance.
All right, we'll find out soon. Yeah, if he can get it around the 20-minute mark, honestly, it's, again, not too bad, considering. But you have Vengeful with the Vlad's finish, working on a Heaven's Halberd now. Seems like a very good item to have against Troll specifically. Like that disarm. How does that work?
They can get a couple items against him.
How does that work, by the way, with the Heaven's Halberd for Troll, as far as the duration of the disarm? Does it matter what form he's in?
It does, whatever it is when you use it. So if you it doesn't update retroactively or whatever. If he's ranged during it, it will do that duration.
That makes sense.
And bottom lane looks like he might be in some trouble. The camera's not focused on him, but he's getting chased down by Troll once again.
Alright, well, Lifestealer picked off again. 40 more seconds. Again, the fact that he hasn't finished the Radiance yet, that's another death that's just delaying it quite a bit. I mean, doesn't have buyback, so it's safe to say I'm pretty sure he has the Sacred Relic. He's just waiting to get the recipe.
It's pretty impossible to play a carry hero against another carry hero where you die by that carry hero walking at you. It's not like Troll has to do something fancy. He's just going to be farming that area of the map anyways. He's not inconveniencing himself. He's like, I'm going to go kill this creep wave. Oh, hi, there's a Lifestealer, and then he just kills you. So
hey, he pressed R.
Yeah, you're right. He utilized a shorter cooldown, but just one of those things where it's not as bad if it's supports or something that threaten you because they have to play off map and try to cleverly gank you, but if it's just a carry that threatens you, it's so hard to play against because he just walks at you. He's already doing that. So
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That's Team Spirit, 9,000 net worth lead again. They've had a pretty comfortable net worth lead throughout most of this game, but it's not one that's you're very confident. It's not your typical 9,000-10,000 net worth lead at this point because they keep going back to you with Medusa competing with that Troll, continues to be out there, and we know that Radiance eventually is going to come online for Lifesteal. Look at this Medusa, though. Fervor's adding up. The double Chain Frost coming out now with the Soulbind, but Boranesia decided to turn this. Willow was thrown down with LeBron Dota. He couldn't Primal Split. He tried so damn hard right there, but he could not get it off. Arman pulled back in again. He's going to manage to get away, and now Coddle's going to get picked up. Good reset here for Team Spirit. Swap from Mitch will save the Medusa for now, but they're still in hot pursuit, and they're going to catch up to Medusa. So they catch everyone minus a Lifestealer. That's because he's pushing out bottom, but clearly a victory of a fight for Spirit. Going for more.
Yeah, this Lifestealer pick, I doubted it in the draft, and there's plenty of times I'll doubt a pick, and I'll be pleasantly surprised by something that they understand that I don't in this game. I feel like if you have two heroes that share the same weakness in Pro Dota, these teams are going to be good enough to punish you. And Medusa and Lifestealer, neither of them want to fight in the early to mid game, and Team Spirit has punished the hell out of that idea, and that is showing here where they're losing 2 lanes of racks at 22 minutes, possibly only 1 if they manage to hold here. Again, with a Medusa Coddle lineup, so a lineup that should be traditionally difficult to high ground against. They are instead already losing 2 tier 3s and already a lane of racks.
There we go. Get an idea of what Lifestealer's at, and he's about 50 gold away, so he almost has the Radiance now. And a bit later than he would have liked, but at least we'll finally have it, and the burn effect is going to be useful as far as proccing the miss chance.
This is his only way to be an impactful hero this game. With the Troll Warlord, you'll never be able to actually right-click anybody, so you're just going to be running around, so why not deal 60 damage a second while you're running around?
That too. Check Roshan, but obviously you can't even spawn just yet. A 5-man shrine there turned into a 5-man smoke from Team Spirit. And BKB delivered to Monkey King in the meantime. He's got the Diffusal Blade, and he went first. They're beelining right down the mid lane. They're going to try to catch somebody. Elements Pro Gaming, though, just on the uphill. Going to be spotted. Centaur running up. Oh, they're getting close. There we go. Now going to start to be exposed. Now it's a matter of who they jump. Blink in. Mitch is going to swap out Coddle, but Coddle still probably did anyways. Now Mitch is in a bad spot too. He had the ultimate pop for Asia. Sitting his ground. Stone Gaze helping right here on top of the Wukong's command. There goes one of the Chain Frost though. Bouncing around. Asia falls in the midst of it on Medusa. Look at 9. He's going to manage to get out of there some way, somehow as well. And Troll, that's just what he does once again. Man's up. Brewmaster trying to finish the job, but he can't even do that. A complete wipe for Team Spirit. That game number 3 is looking pretty toasty here.
And we mentioned this at the start of our series cast, maybe it was even last series, where this Radiance whole thing of just the game already being over by the time you have this Radiance, and while it being a powerful item, it just doesn't matter if you're down by 16,000 gold. Like, these heroes almost died. Monkey King, Troll, they almost died, but you're just so far behind that the potency of this item is just not enough.
We were talking about with Skitter, actually, funny enough. Yeah, he's the player that was known for building that. GoDz is bringing that up earlier at the beginning of the series. So the fact that Lifestealer is actually put on the other side and happens to be going that Radiance build, a bit of a tribute, I guess you can say. But yeah, you look at the odds updated, again, favoring Team Spirit. I'm going to assume those are the series odds right there.
If I'm getting 1.55 to bet on Team Spirit up by 20,000 right now, I'll put my house on it.
Got all in, baby. No, that's I have to think that's a series odds there because
yeah, I have to imagine that as well. Unless people just really don't understand what 20,000 gold means in Dota. But yeah, they're just waiting for next Roche. They're buying their time. Like, yeah, the game needs to end for them. Like, they are on a timer, but doesn't mean like the average Dota player's reaction ends up being. That does not mean you need to march into their base and end the game. You have to wait for your proper timings, get the items or Aegises that you need. It is up now. Looks like I would recommend they probably push in like at least bottom lane, just get the momentum there. So someone on Elements will eventually have to respond. You don't want to fight them head on at the Roche pit, I think. Not because you can't win, but that's like the only chance that Elements has of winning the game is if you take a fight head on. So I'd like to see them force Elements to separate and then take the objective that they want, which Troll is setting up to do right now.
Doing that, and on top of that, there is a double damage rune that spawned at the bottom, so we'll see if Troll maybe runs past that on its way back. Definitely be a big play there, but obviously in a pause as Radiant team wants to talk this over as far as how they're going to give themselves any bit of a chance to. Again, they're the ones up 1-0 on the side of EPG. So worst case, go to a game 3, but trying to figure out any way of climbing back into this one. It's a Lifestealer. Trying to get any kind of farm with that Radiance, but that's the other thing too. You have a Medusa on your team. She's obviously soaking up plenty. And when you're forced to kind of stick together like this and lacking vision in general, only one of those cores is going to be able to get some decent farm out of it. So the struggle life will continue to be there, unfortunately, for Lifestealer. And here comes a wraparound play.
Yep, and the bottom lane pushing in just as you want. It makes your decisions much easier. Eventually, elements will be forced to respond. You're putting them on a timer. And they're going to find him here, but elements is set up.
Matter of jumping, Mitch. Oh, he gets exposed, as does LeBron. As 9 is going right for Mitch. The side snook to come over here instead of Will-O-Wisp put down. Wukong's, never mind, Stone Gaze, tons of in place. Our Skitter's sitting on top of Medusa this whole time. And Medusa, as you can see, barely any life, no mana to work with. Soulbind comes out. Where's that Chain Frost? You know it's coming eventually. Wukong's is down. As it looks like Lich is being crowd control, but they don't even need the Chain Frost. They kill Medusa in the back line. Swift Ending's like, I got this, guys. No, you don't. You explode. Mitch, he's dead too. GG's are called. Kind of expect now for a while. Team Spirit is going to pull through and force that third and final game. Our only series to go 3 games today.
I learned an interaction just now. If you're a Lifestealer inside of a Bruce split and he comes back, you get forced out. That was interesting.
Pushed out.
Did not know that, but you know, learned something this game from the Lifestealer pick, I guess.
There you go.
But yeah, overall, I actually think the game in terms of draft was very even up until that Lifestealer pick. I feel like maybe they were feeling confident after the first game, and they're willing to take a little bit of a risk in game 2. But Lifestealers, in my firm belief, trash. So I'm sad to see him picked and just have the game lose like that, because
You're hopeful.
you have your win condition in the mid lane. Why do we have to, like, you know, get cute with our other picks? Just pick stable heroes that will do their job and allow your Medusa to carry you. Instead, it felt like the Medusa had to, like, itemize and adjust her gameplay in order to make up for the Lifestealer, which is the last thing you want your win condition carry hero to do. And it just felt really awkward.
Either way, we got a game 3. That's what really matters. So looking forward to that, at least, as Team Spirit's able to force it. Just get her there, 12-0-9 on the Troll. So Troll, go figure, has been an impact back-to-back games. We'll see if game 3 comes about or possibly going to be banned. Ladies and gentlemen, the WePlay Winter Madness on BreakyCPK, joined by BSJ. We'll have GoDz returning as well. Stay tuned. We got our third and final game going to be coming up next.